Lesson number 57. Today, let us review these ideas. Number 31 was, I am not the victim of the world I see. Number 32 was, I have invented the world I see. Number 33 is, there is another way of looking at the world. Number 34 is, I could see peace instead of this. And number 35 is, my mind is a part of God's. So I had talked before as we were going through the chunking of lesson 56, looking at 26 through 30, about pain. And of course, because we have a body, we experience discomfort, pain, aggravation, anxiety, nervousness, and we must, I'm looking upon a world of a pandemic. I'm looking upon a world of political unrest. I'm looking upon a world that has issues of war and combat and strife. I'm looking at a world that has issues of health and disease and vaccination, all those kinds of things. And ironically, during this time, and this is in the first part of 2021, and I'm taping this, I am, with all of the anxiety around me, at a form of peace. And the same things, I would say the only thing that hasn't happened to me is that I've been able to maintain some of my work relationships so that there hasn't been an interruption. I've kind of had a routine to still follow. But, everything here in New York City and Manhattan and traveling, it's been less people. I now have wardrobe considerations that include masks. So that's a new kind of thing. And sometimes every once in a while, you catch yourself, oh shoot, I forgot it, or you walk out, now I can't go in the store, now I can't do this, different kinds of things that bring that back and then bring that back to why you're wearing a mask. I don't watch television. I don't watch the news. So generally, maybe once a week, pretty much around arriving at work and, turning on all the computers and stuff like that, do I see little snippets of things? And I engage sometimes further into particular stories, but generally, if you think of it on a scale of 1 to 100, I generally see about a level 5, maybe 15 of news cycles and stuff. I generally know what stuff is and who and where, but I eschew that to work on my work, my writing and the video stuff, and even these course videos, doing a series of them every week, absorb a lot of my attention, or I allow it to absorb my attention, or I allow it to be something that my attention is absorbed into. So, I go out and like everybody, I enjoy cooking. So I'm able to do that in my spaces and with my people and all those kinds of things. And so, and I look at that, in a weird way, the pandemic has been wonderful for introverts because it's what we do. And it's made it a lot easier to be an introvert because there's not as many demands to literally be out. So I have not experienced some of the pain and anxiety and nervousness and frustration I've seen others going through, even though I have still had, occasional desires. I was lucky that I got to see a play that I wanted to see right before there was a shutdown, lockdown here in New York City. Like literally the day, 2 or 3 days before. And so I look at this, and one of the things that I've talked about in my classes and on television and stuff, and then of course there's all of this telecommuting teaching stuff going on, is that I am grateful that my mother passed away 5 years before this because of her various health issues. This would have been a tsunami of drama. of, how healthy she would have been, how healthy she wouldn't have been. There are many people in my life I can say I am glad that something so pervasive was not in existence in their period of time, because it would have made some of their health challenges even more challenging. So that I can kind of see the goodness in it. I can kind of see the goodness in my own health and moving through this. And I can kind of see a level of appreciation for how the world, nature, everything being of the world and nature, whether intentionalized or not, is affecting, reverberates. So there was a thing, and so I said I would talk about pain. And one of the things that I noted in my family, and the beautiful thing about doing some of my work and it crossing into different areas and social areas and emotional areas and areas of identity, is that it forces me to examine my life, my history, my family history, to see people differently, to perhaps even love them differently when I understand them better and differently. And what I could see is, I call it daisy chaining. And what I mean by that is, if you think of a chain link, a thick chain link, like you would maybe use to lock up a gate or a bicycle on a pole, you think of the links in a chain that I noticed, at least a decade or so ago, that several of my family members treated pain like, I call it daisy chaining, like links in a chain, that they would stub their toe on Wednesday and they would talk about how that reminded them of the car that cut them off 2 weeks before that. And that reminded them of the fact that the check that they were expecting was a week late, a month before that. And that would remind them of the fact that they had broken up with a romantic partner 6 months before that. And that would remind them of the fact that they had fallen and broken their leg 2 years prior to that. And that would remind them of the fact that that a close relative had died. And that would remind them of the fact. And so everything was linked and bound and daisy chained to everything. That nothing was a simple experience if I stubbed my toe. Nothing was a simple experience if I broke my leg. Nothing was a simple experience. Everything, and what that did was, it not only reverberated to the past, to a limited time construct or a limited linear time construct, it also maintained the pain, so that one became a victim of the world that they see. Because if something happens to me, if my pen runs out of ink, that takes me all the way back to when I was sexually abused as a child at 6 years old, 40 years ago. And you're like, what? What did you just say? Because everything was connected to everything, but not in where we can maybe look at it in a positive way, in an empowering way. It was connected to everything in a pain way, in a I am victimized way. How can I be the victim of a world that can be completely undone if I so choose? My chains are loosened. I can drop them off merely by desiring to do so. The prison door is open. I can leave simply by walking out. Nothing holds me in this world. Only my wish to stay keeps me prisoner. I would give up my insane wishes and walk into the sunlight at last. And what I saw that the undercurrent lesson was in my family was that pain is permanent. Pain is, avoid at all costs any new pain, because as soon as you have new pain, it's going to trigger 100 other pains that are going to come back again. And oh my goodness, great. This is why there is so much pain, or as New Earth talks about, Eckhart Tolle, the pain body. There is so much pain in my family, and that's part of what they are A, offering me. Hey, would you like some? Hey, do it this way. And B, when I have had exploitive or abusive or manipulative experiences with family members. And I decided, okay, I got to avoid this person, got to step back away from the situation as soon as I am able, both as an adult and then when as an adult, that this is not someone that I can have safe contact with because of some of their behaviors and issues, that they were stuck in their pain, yes, and they were in pain, yes, and to some degree, I realized that my black sheepness of the family doesn't come from identity issues, it comes from not identifying with the pain. Because there was always something that I was like, no, I don't want that. No, thank you, please, no. And in romantic relationships and friendship relationships and even professional relationships, you can kind of back off, you can back away. But family relationships, you're stuck with them. How do you politely get away from them? Or there have been times where there have been phone calls, and it was just people calling me with pain, just with pain. And I wasn't experiencing life through pain. I came to a point where I could see peace instead of the pain. When I see the world as a place of freedom, I realize that it reflects the laws of God instead of the rules I made up for it to obey. So I'm thinking, well, I've got to help, please, fix, do something. And then, I'm studying the chorus and it's going on and it's, no, it's all right. You don't have to do anything about it. It's let go. Don't worry about it. The trees have it, the leaves have it, the squirrels will take care of it. And I will understand that peace, not war, abides in it. That part of what this mental framework is saying, and I will perceive that peace also abides in the hearts of all who shall share this place with me, is that you don't have to take care of that. It's taken care of. The earth will spin without you. Without your interference, without your activity, without your fixing, the sun will blaze. It will be okay. Maybe not the okay you think it should be, but it will be an okay that will be okay. And I started learning, a loving detachment. That's not for me to fix. That's not for me to fix. It became a whole game of, wow, there are so many things that I don't have to fix, that I can simply be at peace. I begin to understand the holiness of all living things, including myself, and their oneness, which is my recognition of it, of them, of the issue. There's a oneness with me, but if my oneness also includes the mind of God, then I can, Kyle, the consciousness that perceives itself as Kyle, can let go and let God. As always, it's been Kyle Phoenix, and I'm your host, Kyle Phoenix Show. We're going to Course in Miracles. This has been Lesson 57, which is a review, an amalgamation of Lessons 31 through 35, because the lesson in the 50s kind of go over the first 50 lessons, so 51 through 59 or 60 or so. We'll go over all of these. As always, you can email me at kylephoenixshow@aol.com. You can see the Kyle Phoenix Show Thursdays, Eastern Standard Time at 11:30 p.m. through Manhattan Neighborhood Network, mnn.org, and through our website. Or I can post it on Facebook and Twitter, and you can look me up on there, as well as Amazon and Hi-Fi and Sleepo and Barnes & Noble, and you can see the things that I've written, as well as on QR. You can see all of the blogs, as well as you can type in just Kyle Phoenix blog, and a Kyle Phoenix blog with thousands of blogs will pop up. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.